Hey guys, Zelonius here. Welcome to another video on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be going in depth on tactics. So for this video, I'm going to be explaining everything you need to know when it comes to building custom tactics, how everything works, a bit more of an in-depth look into it. So when you're actually using custom tactics, if you're trying to tweak them or adapt them for yourself, you'll actually understand what's going on with them. I think there might be a few things that some people who've played this game for a long time might learn that they've probably never seen before. I don't know what's happened to my Musiala there. His head's left the card. Generally speaking, when they said that they'd be like doing dynamic cards that actually move me, I didn't expect players to do that. But anyway, yeah, this is my team at the moment. I've got like nearly 500k, about 2 mil of fodder, and I'm waiting for the Mbappe SBC, so hopefully that's going to come soon. So tactics, you've got a variety of different things. The first place I would start would be the formation. So for the most part, formations are fairly adaptable now. By that, I'm basically saying, as in that you can use a formation and make it play quite similar to a lot of others. A lot of this is to do with the instructions. The main thing a formation does is the starting point where players are going to be, or generally where they will be when you're attacking, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of different ones. I think there's 30 in general. Let's have a look. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 32, they have added a few over the last couple of years, I guess. So, yeah, a lot to pick from. I do think there are some pros and cons. I mean, there are some formations just naturally going to be a bit more meta or consistent. Whenever I do a video, I do explain why I use it. So make sure you, when you watch, in my opinion, a lot of people watch tactics videos and don't actually listen in depth. They don't actually take the time to properly listen. They very quickly flick through, just copy down the tactic, put it in, don't know, listen or see how it works, and then end up complaining saying the tactic doesn't work. And sometimes it might be because they've actually missed a key component of what the tactic could do. So formation, very important. But yeah, the other thing I would say is make sure you do like change your players and stuff in it. Are you sick to death of getting out teamed on FC24? Want that God squad you've always been dreaming of? Check out iggm.com today, the best and most reliable place to get coins for your ultimate team. Use the link in the description and code ZEL at checkout for a 5% discount. Check out iggm.com today. To make sure I don't mess mine up. I'm just going to not save the changes quick so I don't end up messing my actual main one up. One thing to consider is game plans. A lot of people only use one tactic, and if they're going to change, they end up going into the. They pause the game and then do the changes there. I never understand that. I see this a lot when I do coaching sessions, that someone's paused the game to change the tactic. You should not be doing this. You should always have 4 game plans. One that you can see out a game in, one that you can start the game in, one that you can go if you're a little bit behind, and one you can get back into and be all out attack. It amazes me, like I say, how many people just have one game plan. It's a very basic thing. For the defensive style, you've got balanced, drop back, that's the most negative, press on heavy touch, press after possession loss, and constant pressure. Effectively, these are just the level of press. Not much more to really say to that. Press on after possession loss is a pretty good one to go to if you're a little bit behind. Constant pressure is good, but it is a bit risky and it's awful for stamina, so you can't use it for too long. Width, for the most part, this is pretty obvious just how wide your team defends. So this here, if you put your width to like 100, your team are naturally going to leave a lot more gaps in the middle. Some formations I would want to be a lot more narrow. So if I had a free back, I'd have my defenders on pretty low width because I don't want them pushing out wide. If I was playing a 4 back, I'd probably have pretty balanced width. If I have 5 back, I might switch the width a little bit more because my team are going to have a bit more spread out across the defense. Depth is one of the ones that a lot of people don't really understand, in my opinion. Depth to me, if I didn't know how it worked on FIFA, I would assume that is basically how high my defensive line is. That is not how it is on FIFA. If you have 1 depth or 100 depth, if you keep the ball in your opponent's half for ages, your team will push up really high. If you have 1 depth or 100 depth, if they keep the ball for a long time, your team will still end up getting pushed back and sit deep. What depth essentially does is how high you actually press up the pitch. So if you have 100 depth, your team will be trying to press a lot higher than if you have 1 depth. The thing about depth, though, is that the higher it goes, the more the AI starts kicking. It's a bit of a dumb feature on EA games, but there you go. Build-up play. I think these are pretty obvious in general. If you just read what it says on the instructions on the right there, it pretty much just explains what they do. I don't think there's much I could really add to that. Chance creation. Direct passing, bit glitchy for a long time. It's done this maybe 3-4 FIFAs now, where it kind of just pins the opposition back. It's a bit dumb, but it's one of those features that I'd definitely be using personally. Balanced, not bad, but not probably as strong as direct in general. Possession, I don't really think this very worked. I've not seen anyone really try use it much. Forward runs, I only really use that when I'm playing really aggressive passing. Or press so I can get the ball back quick. Width in attack, pretty similar to the defense. How wide your team operate in general. If you go really high, you can see you have a lot more options out wide, but not much in the middle. I generally leave it fairly balanced. But again, the formation can affect this. Players and box, how much your team get forward. These can kind of counteract some of the player instructions. Then player instructions in general, very important. So for attackers, pretty much unless you put them on comeback on defense, they won't defend that much. I do think work rates this year work a little bit more than usual. So if you have a low work rate, they won't respond to this quite as much. This is fairly obvious if you want to cut inside, so wide. Balance is all right, but generally speaking, it depends what the formation is. Again, getting behind, I quite like out wide. In the middle, I don't know. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Generally speaking, though, when it comes to instructions, there's probably not anything that I look at and I'm like, that is just an absolute must for the most part. One big one to consider for your fullbacks is, do you want them on stay back while attacking or balanced? If you need your fullbacks to provide width, balance is what I'd have them on. If you want your fullbacks to stay back, you don't need them. So like if you was playing, say, a 4-4-2, and your left mid and right mid are giving you that width, I wouldn't have my fullbacks on anything other than stay back. I don't need them to push up. I don't want to leave gaps in behind. Whereas if I need them, like if I was playing the narrow and I need the width from them, I would put them on the overlap. For the midfielders, I think this year you can put stay back while attacking and they can still get involved in the attack. But I think the instructions for the most part do work. I've never really tried stuff like target player backs into an opponent, that's the ball for feet. Not really tried that, so I wouldn't really be able to tell you too much about that. But you can experiment and do quite a lot with the instructions and tactics to really tweak your team, in my opinion. Interested in what you guys think. Is there any instructions that you particularly really like? There's some that just don't do as much as others, but in general, you can customize formation, make it play for the most part how you want. There is just, unfortunately, quite often on FIFA, certain ways of playing that are going to be rewarded a lot more. Appreciate you guys watching this video. As always, keep it spicy. Let me know your thoughts. Hope you have a great evening. Peace.